Let's start talking about Spurs, shall we? Their boss, Ange Postecoglou, spoke to talkSPORT following his side's 2-0 win over Bournemouth on Saturday afternoon. He was asked what he's done to make Spurs better going forward and defensively.
I haven't done anything, mate. We're just kind of working hard as a team. I think the whole group sort of embraced the fact that we need to sort of collectively deal with these things. It's not about goalkeeper or back four. We work really hard. Matty Wells is in charge of the defensive unit, and he works hard on a weekly basis. Our defending sort of starts at the front. I thought the front three and our midfielders really put the opposition under a lot of pressure, which doesn't allow them then to sort of threaten our goal. And to be honest, Vic didn't really have any meaningful saves to make, which shows you that we defended well in front of him.
Listen, I love Ange Postecoglou, but my advice would be, if you go into a club and you change things and someone says, listen, Spurs look totally different. Going forward, they look great. Defensively, they look great as well. What have you done? I wouldn't answer with this.
I haven't done anything, mate.
Yeah, I wouldn't answer with, I haven't done anything, mate. I mean, you obviously have. They look fantastic. They really, they look great going forward. And I think one of the big differences is not having Harry Kane in there to score your goals means everyone's got to step up. The midfield, Basuma especially, and James Maddison, they look fantastic. Or they look like, I know Basuma's been there a couple of seasons, but obviously Conte wasn't playing him. But James Maddison looks like he's been a Spurs player for a long time.
He does, and he just looks comfortable. He looks comfortable in possession of the ball. Basuma's a weird one because when they got him, I thought, oh yeah. He obviously suffered quite a bad injury, didn't he? He had that ankle fracture. So he was out for a fair bit last year, but this season, he just looks incredible. And it always surprised me when they signed him and didn't play him. I thought, well, why are you not playing him? But now he's a ball player. He gets the ball off the back. He's one of them. He's a holding midfield player, but he's not one of those ones that just wants to pass it sideways and backwards. There's a bit of risk to him, so he'll get it on the half turn, in tight areas, and even if the pass is not really on, he'll try and get it there because he knows once he beats that press, James Maddison on the half turn, he gets it and he gets away. So the way that they're playing football this year, they've been absolutely brilliant. Basuma's a good player, Maddison's a good player. I think they've got the balance right in the team because I always used to look at that Spurs midfield and they had legs in there, but there was no real creativity. Højbjerg was in there, Benton Coy, at least he can play. He's been a big miss.
But they were too worried about what the opposition were going to do and to stop them rather than let the opposition worry about them.
Exactly, but now they're on the front foot, they're getting forward, and you've got to think about it. They're doing it right, and some of their players haven't even got going yet. So they've had a good start to the season. Son, I don't know what's going on with him. He ain't got going yet.
Richarlison's not.
He ain't got going since he got to Spurs. Kulusevski's done okay, but still, I think there's still more to come from him. So you talk about your three attacking options up the top and end of the pitch that haven't really got going yet. So if you're a Spurs fan, you're excited.
Has he made them more exciting to watch for the neutral? I know, listen, you've got a dog in the fight, so you're not a neutral because you're an Arsenal fan, so you just don't want Spurs to win. But I think now if they're on telly, whereas maybe last season or the season before under Conte or Jose or even Nuno, Spurs, you go, but now I'm going, I can't wait to watch Spurs. They look great because there are some teams like Brighton, for argument's sake, score goals for fun.
Yeah.
I love watching Brighton play. Spurs now are on that list for me.
Yeah, when you look at Ange Postecoglou and the way that he plays football and the way that he wants Spurs to play, I think you would have taken any forward-thinking manager, and listen, I'm not trying to take away from what Ange Postecoglou done, but
nothing. He just told us that he did nothing at all.
But any forward-thinking manager who wants to play on the front foot, it would be like a blessing in disguise, considering you've had Conte and Jose and Nuno. Who's been, so do you know what I mean? If you'd gone in there and you're attacking, Spurs fans would have gone, oof, I love what I'm seeing here. But for Ange Postecoglou, it just looks like the boys are having fun. They're enjoying what they're doing. There's a way that there's an identity to the way that they're playing, and they're only going to get better and better. The more they play with each other, the better they're going to become.
How ironic would it be if Spurs won the League Cup, so they won a trophy before Harry Kane could win a trophy?
I think all in all, obviously where we've come from, I think that's the biggest thing. It's where we've come from with Conte, Mourinho, and the negative play that we've experienced as fans. And obviously you guys as pundits, you've seen it. You watch the games as much as you do. And I think really that's the thing that's put us up there and everyone's enjoying is where we've come from and where we're at now. And really, I think any good manager should look at the players they've got and assess how they should play to get the best out of them. That's where I think Conte and Mourinho were just too stubborn, didn't want to, change the way. And I think a good manager should look at the team that they've got, the players they've got, and what system works for them, which I think Ange is doing.
Phil, do you not think, though, with Conte, certainly in Mourinho, because they were such proven winners, they almost had that air of arrogance, which is right because of what they've done. They deserve to do that. They almost thought, well, listen, I'm the one who's won the trophies. This club hasn't won a trophy for a while. They'll do what I say. Do you think that's pretty much what they thought when they walked in the door?
100%. Yeah. I mean, that's why they got employed in the first place. But I mean, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Do you look at the squad that you've got and how to get the best out of them, or do you look at the manager you got, which is, well, maybe that's Spurs' problem. They never backed their managers. But it's such a tricky one. But from my point of view, happy that Spurs are more free flowing. You know what we're used to. Sorted the defence out, and that interview that he did just had me in stitches. Literally in the kitchen, I was laughing.
Well, Phil, I was going to ask, do you think
remarks
it's quite refreshing to see a manager talk like the way he talks, and you know when they were micing him up, the jokes he was making, etc. And he's like, I mean this in the nicest possible way. You don't see managers like the way he looks quite cuddly. And all managers, do you know? I'm being kind there, but you know what I mean, right? But
no, I agree. It's similar to Poch in a way. I think that he's quite like a father figure to the guys. Almost, you know, that's his sort of like approach on it. Put his arm around the shoulder and sort of like nurture. Whereas Conte is more like a, you know, this is how we're going to do
School
it.
Teacher.
And it's my way or the highway. Yeah, but I think that Ange's just got that about him, which I'm scared in a way because he's going to have that soft side, which Poch, I thought he was a bit soft at times. And he was like the Champions League final was, he didn't really back himself. He was a bit too loyal to other people rather than look at it for what they are. Whereas I think Ange's better at that. Ange's better at like his decision making, and early on, like Lloris, there's a lot of things he's had to sort out, like Lloris not being there.
Yeah, you know what as well, Phil, that's a big decision, that, to fair, the Lloris one, because although for Lloris probably wasn't his best for a while, it's still a big decision to get rid of your World Cup winning goalkeeper. It's still a big decision, and he's done that.
Phil, thanks for your call. Let's go to Paul. He's a Celtic fan. Hello, Paul.
Hi, Andy. Hi, Benny.
Hello, mate.
Have you seen the new Indiana Jones movie?
No.
Okay. Just want to know if it's any good, that's all.
No, sorry, can't help you.
That's all right, Paul. You're a Celtic fan. What has prompted you to pick the phone up and talk Spurs then?
Because we just can't let Ange go. It just feels as if we're seeing the exact same thing happening at Tottenham that we've seen at Celtic when they first came in. He's a man with his own way, and I can only see Spurs getting better, to be honest with you. This next transfer window at Christmas time, I think he'll bring in another few players, hopefully not from Celtic, and I think they'll just kick on as well. And I did make a prediction, I don't know if they told you, that I'm not sure how long Pep has got long, but I think Ange might get that job as soon as Pep goes.
Wow, you're saying Ange Postecoglou is going to be the next Man City manager?
Yes.
That's a big call. Thanks, because it's a big call. I mean...
Do you know what has happened with the squad? And fair play to the rest of the squad. Kane's there. When you've got someone who's a superstar like Kane who's there, they almost not take their foot off the gas a little bit, but they're just thinking in their heads, do you know what? We'll be all right. We've got Harry Kane there, so he'll get his 30 goals, so I can kind of hide a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Like, not take responsibility because I know he'll do what he needs to do. All of a sudden now, you take that out the equation, that way out the equation. There's no hiding place anymore. Everyone's got to step up. So you're looking at the likes of Son. Well, come on, Kane's not here anymore. We need you to step up. You're the captain now. What are you doing? Richarlison, you've obviously been moaning, saying you want more game time. You play centre forward for Brazil. Come on, it's your turn now. Where's the goals at? Kulusevski, where's your end product? Do you know what I mean? So all of a sudden now, all these players are having to step up. So there's no hiding places.
And as you said, as you alluded to earlier on, they're doing it without two of their key players, Richarlison and Son, not yet performing at their best.
So I think there's lots more to come from Spurs. I really do.
Do you think Spurs will win a trophy this season?
We'll be interested.
Hold on. Am I right in saying you were in the last Spurs squad that won a trophy?
Yeah.
Okay.
It'd be interested to see, would they take a trophy if they finish 6th, 7th?
I think they would.
talkSPORT Drive. Super opinionated sporting debate. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker.